Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got a really fun one for you tonight. Before we get going, I just wanted to take a minute and say I apologize for some audio distractions that you're going to hear. We are dog sitting again. We've got another dog visitor with us, Hudson. That's our friend, Great Dane. So currently we have two Great Danes upstairs, right up above my head, pacing back and forth. So chances are you're probably going to hear them. I tried to do some audio tests before, and you can hear them. It's not terrible, but then there are times that they get to stomping, and so chances are you're going to hear it. So just be aware of that. I apologize, and I also apologize that this thing is coming out a day late. I have just really kind of been under the weather, not so motivated, still kind of feeling gross, but wanted to get this done, and because, like I said, I'm really excited to share this with you. Earlier in December, I did a session with a family member, and this was actually a really fun session, and I'm glad I did it despite having some hesitations. And it wasn't because of who it was. It was just the time of year. Early December, it's chilly out, and there's no foliage, alive. All the trees are bare, and I was just kind of discouraged about that, because you just like color. You like things to be vibrant, not dead and monotone, if you will. So I was just kind of nervous about that, but I knew I could probably make that work. And then the day of our session decided to be completely overcast, and I was even more nervous, because now overcast can do some really good things for photography. One of those is that good even clouds can act like, and I would say, and thinner clouds, like it could be completely overcast, but as long as they're thin enough that light actually gets through, then clouds kind of act like a big light diffuser, kind of like this umbrella behind me and the one in front of me. You don't have harsh light right on your face, it softens shadows, and it just literally diffuses the light. But one thing that being completely overcast also does is that it creates this grayish flat hue over everything. It does great to soften shadows and spread light out, but then it just it makes a drab scene even more drab. And so I was just really nervous that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off. And so I did it. We went in and went through with it, and I was, man, the session actually went really good. And so we met at a nearby college campus, at the Gardens at SIUE. That's Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. And it's not a very big area, but it's got a lot of features, that are right inside of a small place. And one of those being a pond with a gazebo and a bridge right off of it, and then there's walking trails. You're kind of in nature, and it wouldn't be surprising for you to see deer and stuff out there. I mean, as a matter of fact, I can't remember if it was this session or one that I did before, that on the drive in I actually pulled over because there was a deer right on the side of the road that wasn't leaving. Cars were driving by and it just sat there. So I went up a ways, pulled over, I got out my camera and took some photos. And anyways, it was a good time though. They have my wife's half sister. That's who we were doing this for. She has 3 grandchildren, and they were having a blast out there, and in the leaves and just running around. And it was a great time. So anyways, I just wanted to get into this. I wanted to share some of these photos with you, and I've kind of discussed a little bit of about what I wish was different. I just wish that the weather and stuff kind of cooperated a little bit better, but it was early December, so what can you say? Anyways, so the first one I'm going to show you here, this is just a close-up portrait of Lisa and her husband Billy, and you could tell that they're outdoors people. They love being outdoors, and so they weren't hesitant at all to get their photos done early December, and so I was thankful for that. They were ready for it. They were dressed up. They were warm, and just ready to go. So I actually think this turned out really well. Just looking at it, let me make this bigger on my screen here. Here we go. it turned out really well. The lighting, I was able to manipulate a little bit in Photoshop and that. So I wasn't too concerned, because I knew I could bring things up and actually would turn out fine. So there you have that one. The next one is the two of them with Lisa's daughters. You have Ashley on the left and Brittany on the right. And so these turned out really good. Here's another one I wanted to share. This is just the two daughters. I think they turned. I like them. I like the lighting, especially. I mean, it was just really even, but not so flat that like they're the shadows fell where they needed to, and everything looked fine. Here's one with Lisa and Billy with the the grandchildren, the grandboys, if you will. See, there you go. There you have it. Anyways, you're gonna be hearing that. But I like this one. And just to do something a little different, I did this one black and white. Just kind of just changing the what you see a little bit. One thing I like to do with my black and whites, while we're on this subject, is I never just click the black and white button. I always do black light with split toning, and so I will always add, depending on the feel that I want, but typically I will add some orange hues in varying degrees to the highlights and the shadows, just to bring a little bit of warmth to the black and white, because not too much. I don't want it to look like I don't want it to look sepia or anything, but just enough, because black and whites can tend to be very cold, and despite it actually being cold in these photos, I didn't want it to feel cold looking at it. I still wanted it to be warm, because this is family, so I wanted it to continue to stay warm, and so that's what I do there. It's still black and white, but if you look closer, you can actually, you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that, but despite that, you can still see, just gray is a cool color, and so it's always going to look cooler. All right, and this one right here, this one was fun. We brought a blanket with us, and for some reason, I'm just going to point this out, I had photoshopped, on the final photos, I had photoshopped out the tag. We totally didn't even realize that the tag of this blanket showed. In the photos that I gave them for printing and sharing, I actually took that out. And for some reason, it didn't save on my copy, but that's always something I can go back. If they needed more copies again, I could take that out. It's no problem. I just didn't take the time to do it. But I love this one. The personalities really just shine through in these photos, and they were having a great time in the leaves and stuff. And another one that went with the blanket is this one. You always got to have that, overhead, kids laying down, and they had fun with that too. So it was pretty awesome. Let's see, there were a few of them playing in the leaves. Oh man, I like these ones. I did some close-ups of the boys, and oh man, they just turned out great. I love these photos. So here's this one. Just the way the eyes came out and everything. Here's another one. This is the older one, and just really good. And then the last one, this one, man, he liked to cut. He was a camera hog. He knew what he was doing. And anyways, so we're going forward now. Then we got the big family shot. One of the features there at this park is they have this big stone. It's almost like an amphitheater, but it's just made out of stone. It's really cool. And so we use it to seat them and have multiple levels and things like that. And so we got the big old family shot here, and they're all huddled up because the wind started blowing, but it turned out well. Now, what made this session really cool was that Lisa's dad, now that's my wife's dad too, he showed up, and this was a surprise to the boys because Larry actually does a really good Santa. Okay, so this was coming up on December, and the whole premise of this whole photo shoot was so that Lisa had a present to give to her mom. And so great grandma was going to get pictures of the great grandchildren and the grandchildren and her daughter, and so we invited Larry along without the kids knowing to do photos with Santa. And so this was just so cool. And one thing that I missed was because it kind of came together in such an odd way that we really didn't get to choreograph too much. And so I was trying to angle myself to get their initial reactions when they first saw Santa coming up. But then once I was there, I was trying to angle myself this way so they would be looking at me, because Santa was going to be coming up from the path over on this side. And, well, they were so stunned. They couldn't believe that Santa had showed up at this random park, before Christmas. And so they just stood there. I mean, there was almost no reaction. They were just so stunned. And so this is that photo where they just kind of stood there in unbelief, but the smirks were starting to come out. And then they just kind of looked at me like, well, can we see him? And I was like, well, yeah, go. And then they took off running so fast, my camera couldn't keep up. And so, anyways, then they get in front of Santa, and they're hugging him, and all of a sudden they just start telling him. They just start telling him what they want for Christmas, and so you can see that in some of these that, they're just so excited, to be seeing Santa. And oh man, Larry did such a good job. It was awesome. They're describing what they want and how big these presents are, and because you can't take up too much space under the tree. They got to have enough space for all the presents. And so anyways, they got their picture with Santa, and they had a great time, and then each of them did their own photos with Santa, and then Lisa did one, did a couple with Santa as well. And this one's I like to share this one just because it was really cool. And I did this one in black and white because I got one before, but this one I just thought, man, the mood would be really cool to do that one in black and white. So that's what I did, and man, overall that session went really cool, and I'm just really happy with how it turned out. And so, anyways, that was my session with the Doris family, and I look forward to so many more like that, whether they have Santa in or not. Just ones that go that well that despite my insecurities on how a shoot might go, you just roll with it, do the best you can, and have a good time. Have a good time in the middle of it, and engage with the clients, and remember that you're there for work, but at the same time, man, just have fun, relax, be cool, have fun with it, and everything usually works out well. There are lots of things that I need to practice on, for sure. I've been working on posing to make it more natural, more organic posing. But overall, I think this went really well, and I'm happy with the results. They were ecstatic with the results, and everything went perfectly fine overall. So of the things that I wish I could have done better, were really out of my control. I didn't have any control over the weather. I'm glad it wasn't raining, but all things considered, it went really well, and I hope that that I can. Man, just shooting this family again would be awesome. Just the kids loved the camera, and I mean everybody did so well, and I was just super thankful. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was this week's Behind the Lens. Remember to hit that like button below, to subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll make sure I look at them and get back to you super quick. If you have ideas, or questions for things you might want to see on Behind the Lens, man, just let me know, and we'll see what we can put together. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. And remember, get out there and keep shooting.